Ever had someone tell you that what you're doing is a complete waste of time? Well, I have been there, and let me tell you, that is probably the best sign you're on the right track. Personally, I have always been an entrepreneur. It started out in high school when I decided to not get like any sort of summer job or anything like that. I was like, you know what I'm gonna do to make money? I am going to sell candy, sell lollipops, sell sugary snacks, stuff like that. That was kind of the precursor to me becoming an entrepreneur, not falling down the regular stage of making money as a lot of teenagers do. When I started my junk removal company, everyone thought that I was nuts. Literally, they were like, why are you doing this? Why are you going door to door, knocking on people's houses, trying to get jobs for this junk removal stuff? That sounds disgusting. But guess what? Now that it is there's some sort of success to it, those same people are saying, wow, I'm glad you did that. Congrats on, creating this. Like, you should have done that. And that brings me to my main point in this video. It's that results speak louder than your words, than your actions. It's results. People only see a fraction of who you are. They judge you based on a tiny slice of your life. We are only able to judge a person based on the characteristics that are being available to us. So everyone that you know, think about everyone that you know, you have a certain perception about that person. In reality, you only see a certain fraction of somebody's life. The only person who knows you is yourself, because you go through all of these, you know all of your thoughts, you know all of your actions, you go through these things. I'm reading this book on moonwalking with Einstein. Shout out John Fiola, you know who you are. He essentially in the book it talks about memorization, memory. I think that memory is like a big thing. I'm really trying to improve my memory as much as possible. And in the book it says, we only remember things when we deem them important, like valuable. You repeat something in your mind, oh, okay. Your mind is saying like, oh, this is valuable. Or that thing is uncommon or like weird. We often memorize things that are outliers. If you see something uncommon, something that is an outlier in your day-to-day, you're going to remember it. It's going to stick in your memory. And also associations. If you are associated with something, they will remember that. If you're associated with like a song or an action, and somebody or something else does that, or they see that or hear that somewhere else, you're going to associate that with that person. And essentially what it says is like, being an outlier, being weird, quote unquote, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think we use that as a very negative connotation, but it's not that. In the end, being an outlier is what gets you noticed. When you think of all these greats, all these great people, like the greats, the number ones, the top 1%, like the Kobe Bryants, the Steve Jobs, all of them were considered weird or outliers. But now, once they have achieved this great level of success, people understand that the characteristic, that trait of being an outlier, that is what added to their success, to their ultimate success. I'm putting out these videos, like I don't even have like 100 subscribers on this. And I'm sure people are making fun of me, but you're gonna get haters in time. But I think if I keep with this, and this isn't necessarily to me, this could be towards a goal of yours that you have. But if you keep on going towards that goal and you keep on pushing and moving towards it, and then people see that result, it's gonna click to them, okay, maybe I was a bit wrong. And maybe it's not gonna click to them. It took me a very long time. Not everyone has to like you. And I'm still learning that. I'm still learning that. I'm only 19 years old. I literally do not know anything. But, not everyone has to like you. All right, I just wanted to interject a little. I currently making my omelet. This is like a 3-egg omelet. Pretty cool. Yeah, so I just wanted to interject a little with this whole notion. Everyone has like this certain idea of themselves, and
I don't want to superimpose my biases on how to behave or act in this world, but everyone acts a certain way because they want to come across as a certain characteristic, maybe smart or funny. I was actually talking with like a couple of people what it means to be smart. Like, I think we just use that term a lot. Essentially, intelligence or someone being smart can be characterized as being able to visualize something very easily. When I say something to you, you have a very creative mind, like something is able to come to you very easily. There's a difference between knowledge and and intelligence. Look at this. Being knowledgeable is having just knowledge, like having a bunch of facts, or you just know a lot of things, right? But then being intelligent, I think it has to do with like problem solving, understanding certain things, like being able to visualize something. So I think that's pretty cool. Alright, so we just finished our omelet. I also had some blueberries and a banana on the side. In this world, it's so easy to judge. I mean, people like to gossip, judge others, because what's easier, to judge or gossip, or to act, to actually do something, to actually put yourself out there? So, there's always going to be haters out there. There's always going to be people who dislike you, who don't agree with you. At the end of the day, the people who are, making fun of you, and there's a difference between making fun of you and people calling you out. It's okay for your friends to keep you accountable, say, this was a stupid mistake, evaluate yourself. But there's a difference between somebody calling you out on something and somebody just like blatantly making fun of you, just gossiping about you. When you're doing something different in life, people are going to question you. Why don't you follow the norm? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? That is part of being an outlier. But think about it, like really think about it. Nobody remembers the ones who fit in. They remember the ones who go against that norm. So stop trying to prove yourself to people who literally don't even understand what you're trying to do. If you have a certain goal, work towards it. Really work towards it. In the end, your results will speak for you. That's like the main basis of this video. They'll call you crazy, they'll call you obsessed, they'll call you arrogant, whatever. They'll say all these things until it actually works. Then they'll call you smart. Then they'll call you a genius. Then they'll call you all these positive traits. That is the game. I guess the conclusion that I've come to is don't care about other people's opinions. It's just gonna root in this negative affirmation. You can't hype anyone to be up to this certain level. You can't put anyone on this pedestal, because at the end of the day, we all breathe the same air. We're all humans. We're all on the same level. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. We're all human. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts on what to do, what I should talk about. Really trying to make this YouTube thing work. For the viewers, I really appreciate it. Thanks.